What does it cost you? That's what I want to talk about today. I'm talking about bribery and cronyism. What does it cost us when people are able to get ahead by giving bribes or getting favors returned? How much does that cost you? I think most people think, well, it doesn't cost me anything if some big business gets a contract because they greased the palm of some official somewhere. It doesn't cost me anything if some wealthy donor gets a sweetheart deal on a building or some project. I don't really care. It's not my money. Let them pay the bribe. Let the company pay the fine. It's not an issue for me. Well, let me ask you this. Does it cost you when those companies then pass on the cost of their fines or the cost of the bribes they paid to you, the consumer? Of course it does. It's just like when we have these big multi-million-dollar verdicts against drug companies for, some of the fraud or whatever the case may be. They don't pay that out of their CEO's pockets. They pay it out of the sales that you and I make to them. We end up paying that. Who's paying the price? The shareholders, the stockholders, right? No, you are. So when a company has to pay a fine, it raises the cost of doing business, and that cost is passed on. If it's $10 million fine, you can bet that that's going to be spread out over all the sales of that company, and you're going to pay it. So when somebody pays a bribe, you end up paying it ultimately in one way or another. And so it's kind of like, do we really want to allow this to go on? The other thing that it costs us is opportunity. Opportunity, there's a lot of talented people out there, very talented people. But if the playing field isn't level and someone else who's less talented but has a well-connected last name gets a leg up because of cronyism, because of bribery, then that person who was more talented but didn't have the right last name or didn't have the right connections or didn't know how to bribe someone, they're going to get left behind. And that's a real loss for us because we're losing out on the talent. And so we need to have a level playing field where everybody's got a fair shot. Now, this is why I've been such a big advocate for open government, for transparency in government, knowing who the players are, making sure that the contracts are awarded fairly, not giving sweetheart contracts to politically connected individuals or businesses, making sure that the grants are given out based on merit, not based on who you know. These are things that are so fundamental, so basic, and yet we see so much of it going on every single day. I'll give you an example. There's a state where there's a law that says that if you are going to give a grant, you have to give it to the lowest responsible bidder. Well, they don't do that. Instead, they pick and choose who they want to give the grants to, whether it's political connections, whether it's race or gender. Now, at the end of the day, who's paying the price for that? You are. You're paying the price because they're taking your money and giving it to someone who's not as qualified, who's not as deserving. And that, my friends, is the real cost of corruption. So here's my challenge to you. Next time you go to a checkout counter and you see that long line, look at the person in front of you and say, hey, how much did you pay to get in this line? Because you know what? Most of them will say, I didn't pay anything. I earned this. I worked hard. I deserve to be here. And then a few of them, maybe 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 50, might say, you know what? I had to pay off this guy to get in line, or I knew the right person, or I gave a donation to the right person to get in line. And when you hear that, you should say, wow, that really pisses me off. And when you feel that way, when you say that out loud, you start to realize that we can't accept this. We won't accept this. We will not tolerate this. And together we will drive it out because the cost of corruption, my friends, is too high. It's costing you money. It's costing you talent. It's costing you your very freedom. It's costing you your country. And we're going to take it back. We're going to take our country back. We're going to make it free again. We're going to make it prosperous again. We're going to make it a place where everybody has a fair shot, where everybody can win, where the government isn't the problem, it's the solution, and we're going to do it together.